Chapter 7 is Fortnite's official comeback. This new chapter of Fortnite, coming off the heels of the Simpsons mini-season, is off to an amazing start, with the refreshing Golden Coast map introduced and the new loot point pass. Vibes seem stronger than they have been, with it currently being a top 10 highest ranked season. And that is much better compared to most of Chapter 6, which in my opinion fell off a cliff after Hunters, and so did the player base. But those reasons are for another video. Today, I'm going on a deep dive to explore what exactly makes Chapter 7 so special compared to past yearly chapter releases. I'm so excited with the current state of Fortnite that I've been instigated to finally going ahead with making Fortnite commentary videos. I hope you all come on this journey with me in this breakdown, and without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes. I'll be using a formula where I split the video into segments where I explore different topics, the first being the one I'm most impressed with, and that is the map. Chapter 7's map is my absolute favourite since Chapter 4 with Asteria. Now while the graphics are pretty similar to Chapter 6, which also had a great initial map, the Golden Coast has a lot more personality than its competitors. The Epic Games devs had a clear vision of what they wanted the feel of the map to be like, and they kept it consistent throughout the whole map, using the American states as a reference point for the beachy and summery vibe of Pacific Break. POIs in the bottom left, such as Bumpy Bay, Humble Hills and Riptides, all have the same motif without ever feeling like they are identical locations, which is an issue Fortnite has been susceptible to be doing in the past with Chapter 5 and this certain season. On the other side of the map, Sus Studios and Painted Palms both have the same theming of creating movies, with the latter being the location used for the shooting of said movie and the former being headquarters. In the Loop Labs and Classified Canyon also have a linked theming, with advanced technology being present below ground, and these two POIs seem to have the most potential for story-based events to occur in, but we will just have to see. Now Wonky Land is a bit of a controversial one, though I do find it to be pretty fun personally, and a much better version of Rave Cave, which was an absolute mess of a POI to fight in, even though it might have been interesting at the beginning. Unlike in Chapter 7, where the novelty still hasn't worn off after the first few days of the new season release, and it gets bonus points being right next to Tip Top Terrace, which is personally my favourite location on the Golden Coast because it feels very remote, yet there never is a time where I land there and I don't have enemies to fight and pick off. It almost reminds me of Lazy Lagoon from Chapter 1 Season 8, but this is to a whole new level again. The environment itself over there is absolutely beautiful, especially on higher graphic settings, which is what I play on most of the time. The trees make that whole area gorgeous, which also allows me to segue into the next subtopic, being the biomes on the Chapter 7 map. They're simple, yet not boring, ugly or overdone. They don't have to be super complicated. The tall trees on the mountainous forest flow well to the more suburban area on the left side of the map, which then also bleeds into the desert biome. My only few points of criticism, which I'm not sure if it's just me overlooking something, you guys can tell me below in the comments, but Four Fields and Latte Landings specifically both seem a little forgettable, in the sense that I never land there and nothing really makes me want to land there. Though what we can't forget about is Battlewood Boulevard, which seems to me to be this chapter's version of Tilted Towers, and it achieves that role decently. I might be in the minority when I say this, but this isn't one of my favourite locations this season. The trailer showcased and picked it up to be the most vibrant and active place on the Golden Coast, yet personally, when I'm actually there, it feels a little dull and almost a bit boring and unfun. It might be due to the layout of the PY itself, with the canals being smack dab on the middle, which could potentially break up the flow of the movement and fights. I am excited what Fortnite decides to do with this place though, as I think it definitely has the potential to become a top POI in the future. Before moving on, I'd like to quickly talk about the very controversial elephant in the room, the surfing. As a concept, it's a very bold and refreshing way to experience the beginnings of matches, yet it never really found its footing. The surfing before the battle bus returned made it difficult to explore the middle zones of the map because the wave ride didn't push players to enough higher altitudes to reach those locations, which basically made places like Inner Loop Labs a ghost town for the first half of a match, although Epic Games does compensate this a bit, as most of the POIs are on the edge of the map, making it a little easier to access on the limited glider deploy. Visually, the surfing itself could use some work, as I felt the colours were a bit random. I don't necessarily have an accurate fix for that criticism, but I still feel like it could have been more interesting to experience than what we actually got. Now the surfing placing us at random sides of the map I think was a great choice, because it allowed locations to each have a sizable amount of players in them, which fixes the issue that Fortnite seasons have had for years in the past, where a bunch of players land in the main POI of the season while many other locations are then left untouched. Okay, I know that was a doozy, but now let's move on to the next topic. I'm indifferent on the loot pool, though I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan necessarily. I do think it could be improved as some guns just seem too weak. None of them seem really great to use besides my glorious Deadeye assault rifle. The arc landing gun, which while random as an initial concept, I do like that after you explore the map, you're able to see the connection it has to the lightning tubes on the ground at Inner Loop Labs, which just adds to the further lore of the chapter as a whole and the island. The iron pump shotgun is passable, but the dual hammer shotgun feels like it definitely needs a buff. Same with the unbolted twin micro SMGs, which might be one of the worst spray weapons I've ever used, and I've been playing for most seasons consistently since chapter 1. Now the Vengeful Sniper is okay, but the damage is still too low. Not being able to one-shot headshot at legendary is an issue. The new unconventional items like the wingsuit and the Forsaken Valblade are fun. None of the two are overpowered. The 80k returning is fun, and the other consumables I don't have much to say about, though it's always great to see the Chug Jug in the loot pool. The self-revive and the drivable reboot vans are both interesting concepts to bring into the game, and I feel they actually work well within the current landscape. Yes, the self-revive is basically useless to solos, but it's meant to be a luck of the draw type of thing. Having a chance to get back in the fight is great, and it seems like Fortnite is already experimenting other ways to implement this with the rumored gulag mechanic in matches. Fortnite did a great job of releasing new maps for all its most popular game modes, including Blitz and Reload. Having played both, the maps are great, but nothing to write home about. The more maps we have in rotation, the better. The Chapter 7 maps though I feel are definitely of the higher quality compared to the ones we've gotten most recently. Looking at you, Stranger Things. Fortnite's Battle Pass is always pretty good, but I do appreciate the theming of this one specifically, as I feel it fits the vibe of Pacific Break very well. The movie stars being present is a good choice, as it's a great homage to the LA lifestyle with, you know, Hollywood and that whole area of the world. And also, I really like the bride being in the past, even as someone who hasn't seen Kill Bill. If you haven't seen the short film directed by Quentin Tarantino, you should absolutely give it a watch. The other collab, I'm not entirely sold on. I don't feel much excitement towards Marty McFly as I do towards the bride. It feels like the casual one is more interesting design wise than the other. I've also noticed Back to the Future fans online themselves are also not entirely satisfied with his overall set either. The lion skin is definitely not my cup of tea, but I do think his design is pretty high quality with the way the fur acts very well as regular humanish hair. Fortnite's communication has been exemplar from the beginning of this chapter, and they haven't seemed to be dropping the ball yet, which I'm very happy about. For a long time, the gap between the official accounts and the players in the community was very wide, but now it seems they are interacting more with us, and we are finally getting proper promotion for their modes. OG Seasons 46 were barely promoted, but now we've already gotten very nice graphics for Season 7. Overall, Chapter 7 is off to a great start, and I can't wait to see what Epic does with this chapter, as long as I don't get rid of my faves. There were some miscellaneous things I didn't mention, but I do hope get improved in some way. Based off Fortnite's previous track records, I'm not expecting this to happen. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown video, and if you did, I'd appreciate greatly if you liked and subscribed, because I'm going to be making many more videos like this. I'm very excited for the future of this channel, and I want all of you guys to come with me on my journey. So why not be the first to see me as I grow? Have a great day or night wherever you are, and remember, keep it easy.